Hi everyone, it's New Jersey Garden. I have time for a quick tour of my front yard garden to show you what's new in bloom this week. I just want to start out by saying excuse any weeds you see. I've just been really busy with work, and I actually got poison ivy a couple days ago, so I was working in someone's yard. I do some landscape work. I do garden design and installation, and I was working on a client's yard and got some poison ivy, so try to stay out of the garden the last couple days just to rest and put Caladryl lotion and taking Zyrtec and trying to get rid of this poison ivy. I just didn't feel like gardening. So the garden is a little bit messy, and also we decided not to mulch this year just to save money, so it may look a little bit of a mess, but I wanted to show you what's in bloom. Right here is the Yarrow, and I did a video on this yesterday. It's in full bloom right over here, but I have two other spots of Yarrow. There's a lot of things that have just passed. These are Shasta daisies, the Alaska variety. In the background you can probably hear my neighbors have some chickens, and one of them sounds like a rooster. I'll do another video on that another time, but the chickens sort of have a love-hate relationship with them. They will eat the Japanese beetles that we get, but they'll also come over and dig up any flowers you have because they're looking for bugs and beetles. So our neighbors put up fencing and try to contain the chickens. But you know, I'm all for fresh eggs and everything, but they can become a little bit of a nuisance. We live in Zone 6 in New Jersey. It's a town that has some farms. It's pretty, it's not totally rural, but there's a lot of, I don't know, I feel like it's the country. I came from Jersey City, where I'm used to an urban environment, so to me this feels like the country out here. As you can see, the lavender is almost past blooming, but there's a lot of bees that really seem to love the lavender, and they're all buzzing about. This is calament. It was not in bloom the last time I did a little garden tour. It's a really pretty mint flower. Here's some more Shasta daisies. They're just going past. I have to trim all these back to get rid of all the brown growth. I have some sunflowers in the yard that are still opening up, and as you can see, they've been eaten a little bit by the deer, as well as some beetles. I have a bunch of ferny looking plants here. There's actually dill. I just stuck them in the yard here because I love the smell of dill, and I use the dill in bouquets later in the summer with the zinnia that I grow. This is looking pretty good. This is a crepe myrtle. I'm trying to train it into a tree. I actually bought this as a very small 3-gallon pot bush about 3 years ago, and it's growing really fast. There's some more calament. Here's some more yarrow that has not yet bloomed. There's another dill. This, I believe, is actually a coneflower. The deer nibbled on, as you can see, and I've been spraying it, and I'm hoping it comes out okay. As you can see, once the deer nibbled it, once you cut off branches, you know, additional ones will grow, and hopefully it'll bloom without getting eaten again. The deer have been really vicious this year. There is blanket flower right there with some really pretty white alyssum on the ground in front of it. This here is a dahlia. I bought 2 dahlia bulbs. There's one there. And actually, that might be a black-eyed Susan right there. And I'm sorry for the shadowing here. This is another dahlia. I'm really excited for the dahlia to bloom because I just love dahlia. This here, I have a bunch of these. It's ageratum. It's an annual plant. It actually will drop its seed, and you'll get more ageratum the next year in this climate. It's kind of like the alyssum, where it's not really an perennial, but it's an annual that will come back year after year because it will drop so many seeds. And this here is Liatris. It's really starting to come into bloom now. It starts out at the top and then works its way down the stalks. Lots of bees and butterflies like Liatris. I got these as bulbs and just planted a couple bulbs, and it has been spreading, and I'm glad it's spreading because it's one of the very few plants I have that is not touched by deer or pests. It's completely pest-free in my garden, very easy to grow, and I definitely want to have more of it. I'm going to walk around this way so you can see more of the yarrow that's in bloom. Here's another sunflower. I don't typically plant sunflowers anymore. I used to. The deer would just eat them all, so these ones popped up and they are kind of random in the garden. I just left them there and tried to spray them. You can see the deer have been nibbling the leaves. Deer love them. So here's some more yarrow. I like the color variation in the yarrow. I planted a whole bunch of the ageratum, and it gets really big. It has these really pretty purple flowers, as you can see. It will get really big. I just planted a whole bunch of little seedlings. There's some more alyssum. Here's some blanket flower. You can probably see in the background some of my daylilies have been, they were blooming in the last few weeks, but they've been all nibbled off by deer. The deer just love the daylilies, so I may be digging these up and relocating them. There's some more ageratum, and here's some more yarrow. And this was my first yarrow plant. I planted all my yarrow from seeds, and it's nice to have all this color variation with one plant. I'll walk around the back here. Again, excuse the lack of mulch. We decided not to mulch this year. This is the Alaska daisy. It's just a seedling this year. So I passed by this. This was valerian, and the deer nibbled on it. They're not supposed to eat valerian, or it's also called Jupiter's beard, and the deer nibbled off the top of one of the flower stalks. So the deer have been really vicious. It's been a shame that they've been eating so much. This is really pretty. This is a flower that is a perennial that was planted as bulbs about 3 or 4 years ago. It's called gladiolus, and I'll show that when it's in bloom. And over here I just planted a whole bunch of alyssum and most of it made it. You can see a little bit of browning there. That's just from a transplant. It went through some transplant shock. And I planted a whole bunch of purple ageratum in here. There's another valerian flower. And I'll walk around here. There's some coreopsis up there. There's another sunflower that will bloom soon. And back over here is just the back part of the peonies that I ended up cutting off all the spent flower blooms, and just peonies. So you can just see the back here of what the back part of the front of the garden. So I'll do a quick scan. So it's in need of some weeding and some mulching, but right now we're just going to leave it as is because I'm just so busy, and we're going to be enjoying some zinnias in a few weeks. I'll show you back here actually. My daughter planted some zinnias, and I need to spread these out. She just dumped the packet on the ground in a couple spots, and I will be thinning those out and just, moving some of them around. I love zinnias. They're just one of my favorite flowers. So we'll come back around and you can see what's been going on. So this is just the front yard garden. I have a couple other garden spots, and I'll end up here with the lavender. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for subscribing. Have a great afternoon.